You could read 20 books. You could read 40 books. You could become the most intelligent person in the world through education. But if you're not taking any action,
it's useless.
Yeah, I take action trumps knowledge all day long. Tim Bray here, Dylan LaGranger. Another episode of Real Estate Redefined. How are you today, buddy?
Good, really good. Feeling great.
What are we talking about today?
Today we're going to touch on the topic of leadership and promotion.
Good, because I don't have any. So I'm looking for your help here.
Well, taking the lead, coming to the forefront, comes with problems.
It does.
It definitely does. But most of the time, leadership starts from the back.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
So like menial tasks.
Okay.
Like the CEO didn't start as a CEO.
Right.
You know? So, and sometimes life can lead you. Your life is moving faster than actually your mentality. Okay. So you can end up in a position where your mentality isn't where you need to be. So you have to go back and work on that sometimes.
I think that's all. It's all self. Right? We need to work on ourselves before we can help others. Yep. I look at it as your cup. You have a cup and your cup until it's full. Yeah. And yet you're being selfish, right? You need to work on you. Once it overflows into everybody else. So
when you're asking, I want to be a great leader, what are you asking for?
For me, it's having, it's being able to have a vision and being able to explain it to other people so that they're motivated to be on board.
What are the repercussions of that?
It depends on if you're all on have the same mindset.
So I think it's trouble. You're asking for trouble.
Okay.
Conflict.
As far as
chaos. The more people you try to lead, the more conflict and chaos you have to deal with. You have to be able to put out fires.
As a leader.
As a leader.
Without a doubt.
The leader. Not a leader, the leader.
So without a doubt, and I think in my last, I now that you bring that up, when I was working with, a gentleman by the name of previous, we have different traits, different qualities, but we were the same in essence. We were both running the team. And I spent half of my time putting out his fires. And he's probably grown out of that by now, I'm guessing. But it was the phone would ring. And as a leader, I would do the best that I could to deal with those fires almost on a daily basis and make excuses. And, that is being a leader in my opinion.
Would you say in the corporate world, as you get promoted, as you get to a leadership point, are you being paid to deal with conflict?
Yes.
Pretty much as you grow, it's being able to put out fires, deal with stress, different situations that put you in a vulnerable situation. You're in the crosshairs as a leader as well.
You're responsible. You have to be accountable. But I believe if you build up those people that are around you and you look at them as individuals that have really unique characteristics and talents, and you put them in their right roles, then it actually, as far as a leader goes, it lessens your accountability to some extent because those people become experts in their field. And you as the leader are going to them and looking for advice. And cumulatively, the group just becomes extremely strong.
So you become a 360 leader.
You do.
Looking at everybody. They are 90-degree leaders.
Okay.
Where they manage 90 degrees. They're exact.
They're good at they're experts. They're mastering their craft.
Managing what they're labeled to do.
Right. But you can't micromanage. And that's my big thing.
Because you become a micromanager if you deal with.
You do. So you've got to believe and trust in those people that are in their roles and know that they're extremely good at what they do. But each one of those people has to be craving and having this desire to grow and be uncomfortable and know that, they're good at what they do right now, but they can always become better. And if they're striving to do that, because we're only as good as our weakest link. So as far as a leader goes, you're only as good as that person that you just hired.
Yeah, definitely.
And everybody's responsible for bringing everybody else up.
So that's the key, is making the right team. But we'll talk about that after.
And if you have it, you got to get rid of them. And I've done that. If you noticed in the last few years, I'll bring somebody in, realize the chemistry isn't there, it's not a good fit, and it's over.
Yeah, you got to get rid of them.
Get rid of them.
Yeah. It's just like cancer. It'll grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
So sometimes I feel like as I grow in the real estate business, I'm in training for my next position somewhat.
We're all in training. But remember, in real estate, unfortunately, what's driven into you is, and I'm on these virtual webinars right now. I'm looking at these virtual summits, and most of this is not geared towards mastering your craft, which is real estate, and being able to master real estate and help your customer. It's geared towards conversion rates, pay-per-click, Zillow leads, Realtor.com leads, and what is your conversion rate? It's all about profitability. And as a leader, that's important.
You got to stay alive.
What's more important to me is not that you can convert somebody into a client, but can you determine whether or not you can help that person? And if you can help them and that conveys, they're going to trust you and they're going to want to work with you because they like you, not because you're good at converting them or selling them.
Well, if you're bringing enough value, the conversion is just part of it.
And that's what I think the industry is lacking.
I've done deals where the clients have actually said, I will never buy another house without you. Because of the value that we added, the input, the data, just teaching them.
You're doing what's right. You're a true guide. You're a true guide, fiduciary. True fiduciary. Yeah, absolutely.
So that goes back to being a leader is dealing, like you said, it's like an internal conflict. You have to win first to become a great leader. And
I think I think that goes back to, I'm gonna say being selfish. You need, in order to become a true leader and true leader of you, you're the CEO of you.
Yeah, pretty much. So if you can beat that.
So you are your leader. And if you can become happy, then you're able to spread that, throughout your team, throughout your group. And you can not only be a leader for your work environment, but it's your family, it's your friends, it's the person that you run into on the street that may need a helping hand, that may need advice. It spreads everywhere.
You never know who you're talking to.
But if you don't have it, if you can't reach in and say, okay, I need to have a vision. I need to have meaning in my life. I need to have a focus.
Lead yourself.
And then I need to take those meaning, focus, and turn it into action like you're doing right now. You can't get out of your own way.
No.
So how are you going to help anybody else?
Yeah, you can't.
So I think it's a whole package, but it starts with you. Not others. And not leading them. Lead you.
You got to beat yourself to be able to lead everybody else.
And be comfortable. A lot of this is, I hear, a lot of people, they'll pray for forgiveness. They'll pray for certain things. You got to forgive yourself. I think we need to forgive ourselves first. Because if we ask for forgiveness, that's one thing. But if we actually forgive us, we've allowed ourselves to be free.
Stop chasing your tail.
That's it.
Going around and around with a pity party, maybe. But we don't need that.
Self-growth. That's what this is about.
Well, John Quincy Adams said, he's pretty inspiring to me. Dream more, do more, become more.
The key word, do.
Do more, become more.
Okay, so you do. That's action.
Action.
Right? Take it. It's the one thing that I keep going back to is, you could read 20 books. You could read 40 books. You could become the most intelligent person in the world through education. But if you're not taking any action,
it's useless.
I take action trumps knowledge all day long.
Enough action will catch up with knowledge.
Absolutely.
Two key things in great leadership: character and commitment. So what do you get when you got commitment without character?
A debacle.
Hitler.
Right?
You get a Hitler.
Well, now you're talking empathy. You're saying without empathy.
Empathy, character.
And that was, again, I've worked closely with people that don't have any empathy. And, they can be the most driven people in the world. They'll chop the day up into 20 different categories. And my gosh, if they miss a date or a time, it'll throw them for a tailspin. Have a little empathy. And empathy, I don't think you can train empathy.
No, you can't.
I think you either have it or you're not.
Well, hopefully, just to give some people some hope. But yeah, it is tough.
It's tough.
Yeah. So I would hate to cancel someone out like they'd never be empathetic. I think people can be trained somewhat.
I'll put this out there, and I'm not a psychologist or anything, but I've worked closely with people who I believe did not have empathy, and I think that it's very close to narcissism.
Yeah.
In everything I've read.
Yeah.
So this is all we start to learn who we work with as a leader.
Yep.
Because if you've worked with somebody in the past who you can say, oh my gosh, this person's a hitter. They're going to knock it out of the park. They're going to be a salesperson who's going to drive numbers.
Yep.
If they don't have any empathy, you don't want to work with that person.
No.
So why do they say teachers and nurses make the best real estate agents?
Because of the empathy.
Because they have empathy.
Because of the empathy. Often in leadership, the people you're actually leading, I think they don't know who you are as a person. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, but I think it's up to because a lot of times the leader will not like who they are. If they don't like who they are, they're not going to share their inner thoughts and feelings with those people that they're around.
Yeah.
But if they're a true leader and they've broken out of it and they've actually figured out who they are, I think everybody will become pretty intimate with them as a person.
I think it's key to let people know who you are.
I think so.
Because then they know the cause.
What the vision is.
What the vision is.
Sure.
And understand it. So to be a great leader, you need boundaries as well. So I think it's important to determine what you will not do over what you're willing to do. That goes back to character.
It's huge.
So what you're not willing to do.
Yeah.
Set those boundaries at the beginning because that determines your character. What are you willing to do to get this deal done? And if you're willing to do certain things that are not fiduciary, not good for the cause, and that shows your character.
It actually defines you.
Defines you as a person.
And it's hard to take that back.
No, you can't take it back sometimes. But you can learn from it. But you have to earn it back at a point.
Absolutely.
It's definitely set boundaries as a good leader, I think, is key. So here we are. Team building.
Yeah.
So once you've established your character, commitment, and got through all those other points, beat yourself, you have to build a team. So I think you have, like a political party has, I would say, 3 different types of people that they deal with. So they have confidants, constituents, and comrades. I think you're going to get a good point out of this. A confidant, every good leader needs someone they can talk to, totally trust, feel comfortable, like they're in a room by themselves. So like when people come and you get sick of dealing with people, it's because you're putting on a show.
Sure.
So you're like, oh, I can't wait for this person to leave. So then you can be yourself. Your confidants are those people that you can actually be yourself around all the time. Yeah. Constituents. Constituents are people that have the same goal as you. Yeah. But not necessarily there for you.
They're there to get you.
Your confidant is there because of you. Yep. Win, lose, or draw. They're going down with the ship.
I like that. Yeah.
So
that's a difference.
Yeah, there's a big difference. So it could define who you're hiring.
It definitely could.
Yeah, or who you're letting in the circle.
Absolutely.
So your constituents, they have the same cause. They look like a confidant, but at the end of the day, they'll drop you like a bad habit and run off with someone that actually benefits them more or has a better opportunity.
Or is giving them
closer to their cause, bringing them closer to their cause.
Been there. Know that one.
Well, that's why
learned it the hard way.
Well, then you have comrades. The comrade is an enemy of your enemy, or they're not there because they like you. It's easier to say, all right, I don't like you so much that I'm going to join him and go after you.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's the person you want.
No. But in business, you might have to use them.
Yeah.
So understanding the dynamics of the people that you're around and using them and not becoming emotional establishes your mentality as a leader.
Boy, that's powerful.
It's the truth.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
But it's insight that moving forward, we won't make mistakes.
Right.
Because you understand the relationship that person's going to bring.
Yeah.
And not expect more. Don't become emotional. Your mentality as a leader is established at that point.
Yeah, that's great advice. Brilliant.
Yeah. So
you're bringing the heat today.
I'm bringing the heat today. I've been studying leadership.
I love it.
I do it at the gym on the treadmill, reading.
You're absorbing it.
Yeah, I'm absorbing it. So the different dynamics of, say, constituents, your confidants, and your comrades, the 3 C's I call it, is motive. What are their motives?
Is it financial?
Is it financial? Are they there for you as a leader? Because if they don't know you, they're not really there for you as a leader.
They're there for the financial.
They're there for financial, which is fine as long as you understand that.
And I think it takes time to can you take somebody from one role and build them into another over time? Once they get to know you, you get to know them, because it's hard to work with somebody and know exactly which role they're in.
Yeah.
And maybe they don't belong in any of the roles. Maybe they don't belong in your group.
Yeah. But you can use them as a businessman to get to your next point, but don't get emotional when they leave.
I think, unfortunately, people say, a lot of things are done in the name of business.
Yeah.
And that makes it okay. And I'm not cool with that.
No.
I don't think that saying it's done for business is your get out of jail for free card.
Yeah.
People's actions have, ramifications.
Goes back to character.
It does.
Goes back to character. Yeah. But the attitude of greatness, pretty much, you have to deal with people leaving and coming and going.
Sure.
And understanding their position and
For
not
doing
being
that.
offended, affected, or bothered by it, because that's the attitude of greatness in the leadership.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with.
I think the biggest thing there is knowing whether or not, if somebody's going to leave, whether or not they are man enough to give you notice.
Yeah.
If they give you a heads up, knowing that it's going to leave a hole in your ship.
Yeah.
If they have true character, then
water out.
Then they will give you enough heads up and notice so that you can actually shift and
carry over and make sure everything's
and make changes.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if it's a small enough group and enough people leave, it could actually take the entire ship down.
Yeah,
then
definitely.
That does become personal, because they realize that their actions could jeopardize the wealth of
the
everybody else.
Yeah, definitely.
So I would say, the larger your team, the larger the group, the less of an impact it would have.
Yeah.
If it's a small group, the risk to the group is much greater.
Yeah, definitely.
So now it does come down. It is personal. I believe it does become a true indicator of that person's character if they know that them leaving is going to adversely impact that group to such a degree that the group may not exist.
Definitely. And moving forward, I would just like to say, I think you're a great leader. I think I would like to be considered as a confidant, not a constituent or a comrade.
Absolutely.
And that's about it.
That's
where we're at with leadership.
This was off the cuff, and
not even about real estate.
It actually made me a little nervous. I was uneasy doing this one, because it's like I start to question myself and how good of a job that I'm doing with the team, because I question that all the time.
Yeah.
What I can say is that even over the people grow.
Yeah.
Even over the last few months, I'm so comfortable with me.
Yeah.
And because I'm comfortable with me, happy with who I am and happy with my life, that I'm feeling that it's spilling over to everybody else.
Definitely.
And I just want that to grow.
Yeah, me too.
I get more joy out of giving and seeing the group succeed and the members of the group grow.
Yeah.
Probably than I do when I succeed.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
It's a good thing. I appreciate your time.
All right.
Thank you, Dylan.
Leadership and promotion.
Let's do this again.
Seaport Real Estate Group.